If you feel like your website is operating at maybe subprime speeds, and perhaps you talk to your agency about this, and they say, well, that's going to be this really expensive solution to get this problem fixed, and you're thinking, there has to be some type of solution for this. Well, you may be right. Now, there's plenty of really expensive solutions and maybe some not so expensive solutions, all that involve your agency. But the one we're going to talk about today is something that I don't really see often talked about just because people think it's basic, but it's really important. And it's really important. So, we're going to talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But first, I'm Joseph here at SwiftOtter. I am excited to be able to bring this information to you from our findings and our learnings as we work with merchants on a daily basis to help them optimize and improve their e-commerce experiences. First, let's dive into the news. What's happening here around the e-commerce industry to keep you abreast of these changes? We have some interesting changes that are happening. eBay is no longer accepting American Express. Now, you might think, Joseph, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you be bringing this up? The reality is Amex does charge high fees. And if you want to stay in business, you have to be watching your profit margins. And these higher fees do cut into your profit margin. So what can be done about this? Well, other companies are ditching Amex. Should you ditch Amex? Probably not, because for eBay, they've done the math. It doesn't really matter. They're not going to lose that many customers. But it might be important for you to do the math and see how many customers you will lose. There are some diehard Amex fans. I wouldn't say I'm diehard, but I do like my Amex cards. Who knows? Maybe they're a ripoff in the end. But at the end of the day, you need to know your profit margin when it comes to Amex merchants, determine whether it is a hit, an unacceptable hit to the business that you are running. So that's the practical takeaway. If you are on Shopify, you will see that Shopify recently bought checkout blocks. And this is a tool that allows merchants to customize the checkout on Shopify Plus. It does not work on the basic plans of Shopify. Shopify Plus, you're able to almost do anything in the checkout, and it's pretty cool. Pretty much gives you capacity to change almost anything you want in the checkout. So they bought that. They're going to be continuing the investment there, and I'm excited to see that. That was a good, smart, strategic move. Tools like BigCommerce already have very flexible checkouts, and clearly their argument is with Shopify's argument with purchasing checkout blocks is, people don't need like every bit of customization, but they do need some level, and checkout blocks really does well at that. On a more cynical and perhaps entertaining viewpoint here, Zoom is working on your replacement. And no, I don't mean your replacement as far as getting actual legit good work done. I'm talking about the replacement of you sitting in meetings where good work should be happening, but unfortunately work is, unfortunately most meetings are just a waste of time. What would you think about having a AI assistant sit in your meeting for you? Nobody knows that it's actually not you. That sounds kind of scary to me, because ultimately I'm a representative of me. I'm the only representative of me, and having a cyborg in there trying to answer questions for you, that doesn't make sense. So consider me one of those skeptics that said back in the day that horse-drawn wagons are going to always be the way that they're always going to be that way. Perhaps that is the case, but I have my doubts. So maybe I'll come back here in a couple of years and say, dude, I was wrong, but hey, it is what it is. Let's jump into our question of the week. And it is this very important question. How big are your images? As we browse the website, we don't even notice how big images are, right? I mean, there's the hero image, which is a big size, takes a lot of real estate. But how long does it take to download that huge image? In fact, did you know that you can have a small image, small footprint that actually is huge and takes a long time to download? There was, in preparation for this, I stumbled across a website, that there was this hero image. It wasn't much bigger than this on the screen. And I'm not kidding you, it was 15 megabytes. Now, in case you're wondering, most images, I mean, I would say on the little bit higher side is like 200 kilobytes, plus or minus. Like every image size will vary. That's about 75 times as big as 200 kilobytes. 75 of those smaller images. On my fast internet here, Google Fiber, it took me 1.5 seconds to download an image. No wonder image or websites are sometimes feel slow. So there's a way that we can test our own website. And I'm going to show you that really quickly here. It involves getting into the developer tools, but I think you're going to see it's pretty easy to do. So follow along here. I'm going to show you on what this looks like on our own website. In fact, I didn't even look at the image sizes. So I might have some work here to do myself, but I don't think so. I'll tell you why here in a second. So what you do, go to a website, click on the white space in the website. Oops, let me do it up here. And then we click on inspect. So I just clicked in this white space up here, click on inspect, and it pulls up this geeky web code looking view, which you're 100% right. If you think this does not look right, this is not somewhere I should be, well, I mean, feel free to mess around on this. Here we delete whatever we want. That's fine. It's not going to hurt your website if you do that. It's just a way for developers like me to get in there and understand what's going on. So don't worry about this view here. Rock your mouse over here to this network tab. And we're going to then refresh the screen. You see there's nothing here. Refresh this screen, and now all of a sudden stuff appears. Now, in this bar right here, we have all, fetch, XHR, doc, JS, etc. Click on image. So all is going to be checked by default. Click on image. Oh, the one other thing I forgot to mention is we have disable cache. Before you refresh your screen, make sure to click disable cache. I forgot. Okay, then just click it and then refresh your screen again. The final thing we need to do, so we filtered down our requests by images, and then all we have to do is click on size, and you see the angle is pointed up. This is the smallest image on this page. We're going to go up here to make it so the arrow points down. I'm going to scroll up to the top of the screen, and we have our maximum file size being 23 kilobytes. Now, when I say 200 kilobytes, clearly I'm being a little generous here. 23 kilobytes is the maximum file size on this homepage. Now, we here at SwiftOtter are using what's called a headless application, which has real-time dynamic image resizing capabilities built into it, and we get really, really small image sizes as a result of that. So we'll talk about solutions, and that's going to be one of the solutions we'll talk about here in a minute. So you get to see this real time. This is quite nice. But you can see right here, there's 23.2 kilobytes is the maximum. Now, on the other hand, there is a, let me pull up this screen here. We have another one here that that's 759 kilobytes. It takes 20 seconds to download simply because I had it throttled just to see what that would look like. But this is the more important column. Time does not matter, generally speaking, as much. So we have 750 kilobytes. Some of these can definitely use some optimization. If you go to the website, our website that has this eCom Buzz article, you will see an example of 15 megabytes to download. 15 megabytes, that's very significant. So all that to say, big images are a problem, which means a slow website. Big images mean we have a slow website. So what will be some solutions to get around this? Well, the first thing is there is an option for you to solve this problem yourself. How do we solve this problem ourselves? Well, there are tools like JPEG Mini that I have used plenty in the past before we got to our headless website to shrink the size of these images. You can see here, I took one of these images off the website I just was talking about that was fairly large, 700 kilobytes. I ran it through JPEG Mini. The actual file size, the width and the height of the image still stayed the same, but it was reduced from 700 kilobytes down to 250 kilobytes. That's roughly 1/3 of the size file. That's a significant change. Now, this only works on JPEGs, which brings me to my second point. Don't use PNG files ever. Like, how often are we actually working with transparency in websites anymore? I mean, that was really a 2010s deal. And built right, chances are there's almost no need for transparency nowadays. I mean, there was kind of a couple cases back then, but it just doesn't make any sense nowadays. I have yet to see a case where PNG is actually important. So don't use PNG files. If you want a fast website, just export it as JPEG. Quality should be about the 70, 80 mark. And you run it through JPEG Mini if you want to even make it better. You won't notice the difference as far as from a viewing perspective. And the file size is even smaller. So JPEG Mini, plenty of tools out there like that. Just run it through there and it will shrink your image size. Now, beyond that is some like as a tool like we use here on SwiftOtter.com to shrink all image websites. And the cool thing is that it takes an image file and you can put different parameters on it. Say, give me this width, this height. You can shrink it, compress it. Like there's a whole bunch of different options here. And it will do that just based off of the URL parameters, is basically command inputs here. So tools like Tiny Image or IMG is an option that you can use. Cloudinary, there's other options. BigCommerce has an image optimizer plugin as well. Basically, by installing one of these tools, all it does is it then starts shrinking down these images to make them exactly as they should be for your website. Super simple, fairly easy to install, and once they install, they just should work in the background. No problems whatsoever. So, solution you can implement yourself: run your images through Tiny IMG, JPEG Mini. A bigger, grander, long-term solution would be to install an image optimization service on your website to real-time create, reformat these images into a size that's going to work for you. So there you have it, episode 6 of the eCom Buzz. I hope you found this helpful, and if so, I'd love a like and subscribe to help you keep getting these amazing these pieces of information here as we barrel full steam ahead into the future.